Hello and welcome. Tonight on the show, we're going to be trying Ray's Secret Sauce and Great Value's French Fry Sauce. We are so excited to have you. This is Sauce Spoken.
And we're back. We are Sauce Spoken, with a podcast detailing your favorite sauces, dips, and condiments. My name's Adam, and I'll be your host, and I'm joined here this week by my co-host, Tori.
Hello, that's right. Welcome to Sauce Spoken. My name is Tori. I sort of fooled you there, didn't I? Ha! We got a surprise for you. But to my right, you ought to check him out. He is Mr. May in the saucy Sauce Spoken calendar. All proceeds go to lactose intolerance awareness. He's Mr. May, a co-host and friend. His name is E. Hi, E.
I like that a lot.
I worked on that all day.
That calendar. It was a pride and joy to make, let me tell you.
Mr. May.
Mr. May.
Oh, you're Mr. May, Mr. November. Yeah, you pulled it like 4 times.
He's Mr. May,
I jumped
Mr.
in there a
May
few
not.
times.
He's Mr. Should. He's Mr. Could.
Oh, that's for sure. Mostly Mr. Not.
Now it's time to catch up with the hosts.
Time to catch up.
Eric, how was your week this week?
Let's see. No, it's been kind of just average week, you know? Work's been going good, and
How's the
Boy.
laser treating you? Are you
well,
the
we have
laser master yet?
a new like shuffle table to it. So there's like there's
Shuffleboard.
the laser has a bed that goes into the laser, then comes out to like a common area, right? And then it
The
goes
lounge.
from the common area out it's like to the side, or now it can also go to the back. So there's like extra loading room for more sheets. So it's kind of cool.
Awesome.
Kind of like, a little, totally nerdy, but yeah,
Titillating.
manufacturing continues.
Manufacturing continues.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, we got some new electrical box enclosures they're making. So
Wow.
that's exciting.
That is
Yeah.
fascinating.
As the world turns.
Riveting.
This is what keeps you guys entertained.
Get it riveting? Is metalworking?
Well done. Nice.
Thank you. I'll pat myself on the back.
Yes.
Starting now.
Break your arm in doing so.
I fixed my gutter the other day. That was,
Oh, at your
a
estate.
little short. My estate.
You had to get like an 8-story ladder to get up there. You have to call the butler to hold the ladder for you.
The butler's
estate.
currently on vacation, but yeah.
Who are you calling the butler? Oh.
You.
That's you, Jeeves.
I am the one that often comes to help you with home projects, so that does track.
It does track.
What about you, Tor? What do you get up to this week? Anything good?
Oh, boy. What did I get up to this week? Let's see here.
We definitely went to the gym.
Oh, of course. Yeah, right. I wouldn't miss that. Yeah. Yeah, that's a real spectacle down there. I love it.
So you were just telling us about your gym, buddy.
Yeah, there's a fella down there. He watches YouTube.
While he's doing the shoulder exercises.
Oh, yeah. You got
One hand on the phone.
one hand on the telephone, the other hand doing some type of, maybe extension or something with the other arm.
Seems like a dork.
And, yeah. my
People
man
on
is
their
tuned
phone.
in.
Yeah, people on their phone in the gym drive me bonkers.
I bet. Reasonably so.
Yeah.
And this is the same dude who used maybe 3-4 machines all at the same time.
All at the same time.
You
Perfect.
know,
That sounds
Doing the
actually
circuit.
like pretty talented.
piss around. I had to ask him the one time because he was on a machine, but his water is
Right.
something, was sitting by the other one. I
They
had to get
posted
on
up. Yeah.
I was like, bro, you using this? I interrupted his chess game.
Oh,
Sitting at a machine, I seen a chessboard. I seen it.
Wow.
how could you break his concentration? like
I
that?
know.
Did he say, "Oh, I'm almost done with that"?
Yeah.
So hold on.
All right, Igor Romanov. See you later.
You should hire the AI robot that broke that kid's finger to break all of his fingers. That'd show him. That'd learn him. Well, I want to get started early because we have a lot to cover with this episode. As Tori mentioned, we have a little bit of surprise coming up. And spoiler alert, the surprise is this is episode 99. So for episode 99, we decided to take a little revisit into the past. Yeah, so I want to do a fun little thing and kind of like a recap moment for us, something that we haven't done before on the show, but I thought would be fun to do for the first time now, which is revisit our early show, where we get back to our roots, get to really, real deep back to our roots. And so we're actually going to be trying this week the very same sauces that we tried for episode 1 of our show. And for this week, that's going to be the Great Value French Fry Dipping Sauce and the Sweet Baby Ray's Secret Sauce. Now, for those of you who have been with us since the beginning, you may not remember.
We love you, by the way. Let's just get that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you are stone cold. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I will say that, like, beginning show, none of us had ever done a podcast before. Tori had done a little bit of work in radio. Eric and I had never done any formal media like this at all.
At all, yeah.
And I don't think any of us had any. I knew what podcasting was. You guys really didn't. And
knew of the concept, yeah. Basically.
So between the three of us, we had like a third of the knowledge that we needed at most.
At best.
At
on
best,
a good day.
Yeah.
On Easter Sunday.
So we really didn't know what we were doing when we got together. And I know it took us a long time before we could even come up with a subject matter for a podcast to do. And I remember, too, the funny thing is we had like a whole outline of the stuff we wanted to cover, roughly the order we want to do things in. And we've kind of settled on a much more rigid structure now, but it really took us a little while to get in the groove there.
For sure.
Hammer it out.
That first episode is kind of a mess.
It is, but I'm surprised at how not messed it was. So spoiler alert for the listeners. We went back, and our homework assignment was to go back and listen to the first episode again, because I listened to it quite a bit recently after it came out, and then I haven't listened to it at this point it's been probably a year and a half since I've heard it.
At least.
And it was still pretty familiar in my mind because we had a lot of editing difficulties initially trying to get things sorted out and get the sound quality figured out and get the balancing and the mixing and noise reduction and all that shit. And so the first episode got reworked half a dozen times, I think is fair to say, Tori.
Easy.
Because that was back, when you started off doing the editing, and I know that we passed it back and forth, made all these changes and stuff, and oh my god. So I think half a dozen times is conservative, if anything.
We were using a different operating system.
We were recording through Audacity at that point.
Right.
We've switched to Hindenburg, which seems to do a little bit better auto-leveling stuff for us, because I know that first episode was it was a lot quieter overall, but also our speaking voices had more like dynamic range. I do a lot more compression now, and I bring the levels up in general so that you can be at like mid-range in the volume on your phone and still hear us clearly, as opposed to like our early episodes where you got to basically take your phone volume all the way up, and then some sections are very loud and some are very soft.
Right.
Especially if I got wound up and Eric was just mumbling, it was a lot of dynamic range that we don't have anymore, which is, I think, the dynamic range is good, but it makes it more listenable to not have it there.
A little background scoopage for you.
But before we start into the deep dive on this, I want to do a brief soft-spoken rewind because, Eric, you were tasked with getting in touch with Tom Savini Co. et al. To follow up on the Tom Savini's vampire repellent that we recently tried to figure out what in the hell is going on with their ingredients, because they had listed as Frank's Red Hot listed on a sauce, which was basically translucent and yellow, clearly not containing, and not spicy at all, so clearly not containing the primary ingredient of Frank's Red Hot sauce.
That could be contested.
Well, I know your wife, Tori, who's been on the show previously for episode 30, Amy, she seemed to be of a different mind, despite having not seen the sauce nor tasted it.
Yeah.
She seemed to think that was quite plausible.
Quite plausible.
Yeah, my friend did too, who's also not seen the sauce or tasted it, and yeah, he thought it was totally plausible. I'm like, I don't know. I disagree. I think there's those red solids that are like suspended in Frank's Red Hot would still carry forward into the sauce.
My thing is, if the sauce was more opaque, I think it would be, and it was a stronger color, it would be easier to hide that, but I don't see any way that you can go to like a nearly translucent yellow with like good transparency, because you can see those chunks in there.
Yeah.
And completely obscure the red.
The green chunks of onion.
So that still doesn't track to me. I've seen stranger things happen here on the show, so I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I'm strongly doubting. What were your wife's arguments, Tor?
Well, she made mention it's by volume, and then she said...
Which we knew.
Yeah, right, exactly. And that if you have, like I say, a strong, color-wise green paste, and you were to add that to that, though be it low on the ingredient list, it packs a punch, so to speak, of coloring, and that would then lend itself to this green color we have here.
Which I don't really think it was green at all. I would describe it as yellow.
Yeah, right. I think that's fair to say.
Like translucent yellow. So that right off the bat, sus. And then how does she explain away the heat, though?
That was my question. If that is the premise, then how do you get around the heat question? And cream, I heard cream.
despite there being no cream in the sauce.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Which could do that. It would tone it down. I don't think it would completely erase it. Alas, there's no cream in the sauce.
that's what I'm saying.
I don't believe there's any dairy whatsoever.
I mean, it was a
Maybe
good
butter.
sauce. I mean, I stick to my guns. I liked it then. I still like it.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to get to the bottom of it.
I would like to get to the bottom of it, and I don't feel like it is accurate. I do feel that, like, I was telling you on the way over, Tori, I believe that one of 3 mistakes was made. Either A, this was a copy and paste error from a buffalo sauce that they also make.
Right.
That's what I think is most likely.
There is a Texas. I did find a Texas Chainsaw hot sauce
Okay.
by Tom Savini.
I strongly believe that's probably what the answer is that it was from a hot sauce they copy and pasted by accident.
Right. That's what I think too.
Second most likely thing is that maybe they did not put them in the correct order. Maybe they didn't list them by weight or volume or something like that. Maybe they just put them in a random order by accident. Small company could make that mistake. That's
Yeah.
possible.
For sure.
Third option, which I think is least likely, is that they had a Frank's Red Hot product that was not the actual original hot sauce, that is also garlic based in yellow, and that's the one they used, and they just mistyped the name or something like that.
Oh, possible.
I think that's the least likely, because I'm not familiar with a sauce like that by Frank's if one is made, but
Right.
I'll give them those are the 3 possibilities I see. I think the most likely is copy and paste. Regardless, Eric.
So right, I reached out to the manufacturer of the sauce, which was Pittsburgh's Finest Foods.
Right.
And they emailed me back from, at least Google is labeling them as Pittsburgh 412U.
You.
Yeah, capital U. University or something. I don't know. And it says, "Hi, Eric. Thank you for your inquiry. Let me check. Oh, period." So, okay,
Oh.
maybe it was like supposed to be like check on, and they just mistyped.
Let
And then
me
it says
check
that and get back to you. So,
that and get back to you. Let me
Right.
check.
Check. Oh,
Let me
okay.
check.
What could have been?
I'm sure it was supposed to be on, but then the reply back to like comes up with a web address. It's a series of like numbers and letters, dashes,
What?
and it says at crm.wix.com, and the person is Fawn Chang.
Oh, man.
Oh dear. Did
Is
you
that one of
follow
them
this?
Instagram
Let's see,
babes
did
that
you
you're
click-
following?
Did you click on this?
I
Oh
did
yeah, is
not.
this a fake Hinge
did
account that
not.
you're going to get a notification that it's a bot
And then I got an even more bizarre email.
from Huang Chen or whatever?
No, from a Douglas Mariani, I guess.
Hey,
Calling you out, Dougie.
Mediani is one of my boys. He's from Jersey.
And
He's from what is that place?
Persephone.
Persephone. He's from Persephone, New Jersey.
right.
The
This
sauce
is just
cabal.
a regular Gmail account, so the name comes up. It seems a little more legit, but there's no like header, like nothing like saying to me. In fact, the thread, the title of the
Forget
email,
you've ever discovered the secret.
the title of the email
Erase your
says
episode.
Tom Savini.
All right.
So almost like it was like directed to Tom Savini, or like he thought I was Tom
To
Savini.
Mr. Savini.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. My apologies. It has been shipped. You should receive it in the next couple of days. This is my direct contact. We had a mix-up. Again, my apologies. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
We've taken one step farther down the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
So
right.
So
Totally bizarre.
That seems to indicate that my guess that their like organizational skills are a little subpar.
Yeah.
That seems to feed into my guess that they made a labeling error with the ingredients.
Sounds pretty sussy to me.
Yeah, if they're misplacing this kind of record and they don't even know what you're inquiring about,
And yeah, I replied back to Doug. I said, Doug, are you referring to the fact that the Tom Savini vampire repellent sauce has the incorrect label on it? And if so, could you please send me the correct ingredients? Thank you.
Oh, man.
But I got no
the
response
mystery
back.
continues. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe we'll have a follow up. Hopefully, we can have a follow up by the time we record our next episode. That would be fun to
That
learn
would be interesting.
because this is a mystery that
It's only getting deeper.
there's going to have to be updates one way or the other. I know that at
Yeah.
some point, but
Send them a message on IG for what it's worth. Also,
you go.
Yeah,
That's right.
which
no
is
response.
which is another fun thing because that was a note I had taken. I listened to our first episode as we were all tasked to do, and one of the notes I took was that we were talking about Instagram in the first episode, and none of us seemed to really quite understand how to use it. I think it was actually episode 3. I listened to the first 3 episodes. Spoiler alert. But I know we were talking about it, and we were like talking about what Instagram even was. Now Tori is our Instagram social media manager, so
Guru, man, you know me. I'm all plugged into the World Wide Web.
I just think that's funny. But yeah, we're gonna dive into this. We're gonna dive into this episode, much like we some video game developers dive into old games like Halo, and they do like a remaster. You know, they update some stuff, they make better graphics, they change like some of the weapon performance and stuff. You know, they messed with it a little bit, and that's what we're gonna do here because we're basically gonna redo episode number 1, but we're gonna do it on our current format, and we're gonna adjudicate these sauces based on the sum total knowledge of the past 98 episodes.
Yeah.
Which I think is, well, it'll be telling. That's all I'll say. Either these will get very similar, and we'll say that okay, we have not progressed at all as humans since then, or they'll be very different. And there may also be some other factors at play too, which we'll get into more later. So,
Oh, darn.
but as I mentioned, like I said, we've got the Sweet Baby Ray's secret sauce. We've got the French fry dipping sauce by Great Value. And I think with that, let's dive into a physical description of the outside of the containers that we're looking at here tonight. Tori, you've got the Sweet Baby Ray's in front of you. Eric, you've got the Great Value in front of you. Why don't you guys start it off with that? Eric, you want to kick us off?
Sure, I'd be happy to, Adam. I have here, yes, the Great Value, as you already said, and it's in a plastic squeezable bottle. It's a little bit interesting shape because it's slightly wider at the base, a little bit more narrow at the top. It's very smooth. It's got these like big radiuses on the corners. It's kind of like I don't want to say eye-shaped, but
It's very similar to the Coop's mustard, if you remember that.
It actually was similar to the Coop's mustard.
I think it's like a standard bottle design.
I was going to say, yeah, definitely a standard mustard.
It has a slightly more I feel like pronounced shoulder than the Coop's. Coop's was even more like
You might be right.
like droopy
Taper,
shoulder,
yeah,
a little more
teardroppy.
taper,
Yeah.
But this is I don't think this looks the same as what it was, if memory serves me right, all the way back in
The label, you mean?
the bottle. Even the bottle shape, I think, has changed. From,
Oh, really?
From
See,
season one.
That's possibly true, but I feel like the bottle shape, to me, I think the bottle shape looks similar. But it does bear mentioning, too, that was 2 years ago at this point.
Right.
Actually, probably a little bit over 2 years ago, like 2 years and maybe a month. On top of that, we're recording currently in your dining room in your Nerd Palace, but previously we used to record crammed in one tiny little corner of your living room when you had a completely different furniture arrangement in there.
Completely different.
Yeah, that's right.
You've gotten rid of a lot of furniture in there, so it's a more open space back there, but you've filled it up since with 3D printing machines.
3D printing machines, another stainless steel table. Now there's a hermit crab. Yeah, lots of
right.
change.
Yeah, we're on like our 4th iteration of table now being out here.
Yeah, that's true too.
So very interesting. But yeah, we moved rooms entirely. We moved rooms quickly. I don't remember what episode that was, but I feel like we only recorded like maybe
just a few at
2
most.
episodes at most. I feel like
Yeah.
we were out here for episode 2, which was the barbecue sauces we tried, including the Newman's Own, which is our first run-in with them.
That's right. Yeah, when they had the pool table.
Yeah,
Yes.
the billiards one, which has now been completely covered up by another tabletop for reasons known only to Eric.
Only to me, yeah. I was just thinking how I need to get that tabletop upstairs. Anyways, back to the label design, though, and this bottle. So it's got a black cap with a pretty good size, 1/4 inch little spout in it for squeezing out sauce. The whole bottle's about, we'll say like 5.5, 6 inches tall. Probably, it's closer to 6 inches tall, maybe even a little taller. It's 12 fluid
7
ounces.
to 9.
It has a picture of a hamburger and a bottle
hamburger.
of Coke, and
That's another funny thing, too, because I remember you saying in episode 1, you still said the same hamburger, the hamburger.
And French fries, and this little dipping cup there, a little like white sauce cup there.
I might go back to episode 1 and play your description, because I think you read the description for that as well.
I probably did.
I don't remember that. I didn't cue this up intentionally, but I might, if it is, I'm going to go back and play it side by side and listen to see if it's identical.
You did keep having to like pry us to get to the to say what kind of foods were on there. I'm like, oh, well,
Right.
there's a hamburger on here, and you're like, oh, there's a hamburger.
Well, people aren't
Would you
good.
put it on a hamburger? And we all said no.
Most people aren't good at like observing things. That's one of the things that they teach you if you want to be like a private eye is just you have to learn how to observe the world, because like kids observe the world in a true capacity.
Sure.
They notice everything. Adults lose that ability, somewhat intentionally and somewhat just because it's just fatigue from all the stuff they are exposed to. So you have to like relearn how to do something like describe a sauce bottle.
That's fair. Fair
Yeah.
to say.
I know that we're better at doing that now than we used to be.
So the great value is on a written in white on a blue little blob in the center, perfect little ellipse. And then there's a larger white ellipse with a French fry dipping sauce written in blue text on top of that. And it also has a little red circular icon thrown over top of this background image that says new and improved. And that's in like a red circle with white text on top of that. And it has the little Walmart logo sunshine nonsense going on that.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Sunshine. But yeah, not a lot going on label. And I will say this.
The bottle is transparent as well, so you can clearly see the sauce on
I remember back on episode 1, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I remember having a relatively positive opinion on that bottle. And now having seen all the beautiful Dapper Dippers that we've seen since then.
This bottle's terrible.
I think it's an ugly bottle.
Oh, it's terrible.
I gotta be honest. And Tori, you want to go ahead and lead us off with the Sweet Baby Ray's secret sauce?
Sure. Yeah, what I have here in front of me looks like your standard issue salad dressing bottle. It is quite tall. I would say maybe 7 inches in all seriousness. Where you pour the sauce out of, it has a restrictor on it, which is quite nice. I like it a lot, maybe a 1/4 of an inch or so. So there you have it. The label comes down, and of course has Sweet Baby Ray's in that navy blue text font that we love so much, dipping sauce underneath that, which looks like a starburst, has red triangles around the side. Of course it's yellow, and red stars. We come down to the body, behind the shoulders, mind you, below the shoulders, like E was mentioning. We have a label up front, Sweet Baby Ray's. There it is again, gourmet sauces. Dipping sauces, again with the starburst. It's telling us it's a dipping sauce with 4 stars. This says specifically Ray's Possessive Secret Sauce, a mild blend of horseradish and spice. We have what looks to be a ham sandwich portrayed with some lettuce and tomato on the side if you wish. We have some freshly fried onion rings and what looks like a little dipping cup worth of this Sweet Baby Ray's dipping sauce. On the back we have, I was hoping for a tail. I thought Sweet Baby Ray's had regaled us with...
Sometimes it does.
I thought so. I was disappointed to see it. Not to see it, excuse me. So yeah, on the back it's pretty boring. Sweet Baby Ray's secret sauce, duh. Ingredients, nutrition facts are there. I'm not going to spoil it.
I have a question about the sauce, though, on the label. Is, in fact, the sauce the boss?
That's a good question.
Because spoiler alert for the listeners, we brought out an older bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's, not the same type as this, but in fact, the oldest bottle that we could find in Eric's refrigerator for sauces that we have actually tried on the show. The one we found in his fridge, the very oldest one, I believe is from episode 8, is a Sweet Baby Ray's Sweet Golden Mustard Barbecue Sauce. And if you notice here on the top, it says the sauce is the boss. And I remember we distinctly commented on that.
Yeah, makes no mention anywhere on the sauce.
Interesting. They've become instead the employee. The sauce is the employee now. It's
That's
the
right.
grunt worker.
Yep.
So. But yeah, interesting. I know we've talked a lot before about Sweet Baby Ray's and how at first we didn't have a lot of commentary on it. Now, we've made a lot of commentary since then. This is probably one of our most tried brands on the show.
For sure.
And I know that I said that their labels to me seem kind of chintzy and boring. Like they're very high, low mass they're very mass marketed, I guess is how you would put it. They're made for a shelf. They're not especially not like that maple syrup we had last week from Bissell's. They're nothing like that. The epitome of boring plastic, flat, no texture, just, I don't know, they lost all the panache. And I don't like bottles when you have to tear through the label and the label remains depressed in there, I don't like that. I like it when it tears cleanly or you peel the label off and it's a nice clean separation there. I don't like this crinkled up paper tearing.
No?
But I do like bottles that have...
I don't think it bothers me that much.
No.
It bothers me. But I do like bottles that have the restrictor in them because you can get some force to the sauce. The ones, and I think Sweet Baby Ray's may even have something like this. If you don't have that restrictor, it just globs out. You can never get a nice little drizzle, a good drizzle on it. So,
right.
With all that being said, let's go ahead now and move on to the inside of containers and give a visual description of the actual sauces themselves that we're looking at here tonight. And I definitely have some comments of my own on this, but go ahead and lead us off first, Eric, with the French fry dipping sauce.
All right. Well, looking through this wonderfully transparent bottle, you can get a good look at the sauce, and it is a very... I don't want to say dark orange. It's not really a bright orange. It's just a true orange. More like I suppose probably the closest thing would be, easiest thing to relate to would be just pumpkin,
Maybe
it's
a copper?
like a
pumpkin.
orange.
It is a pumpkin skin color.
It is. Copper, I would think more metallic and shiny there.
It was interesting because
Shiny.
I remember, I think this was the first instance where we started talking about sauces was that naturally occurring orange color. I don't know if I said those words. I think that was
It's
later.
actually Tori who said those words to you in the first episode. Did you listen to the first episode? know you
I
listened to
did,
the
but
first
right.
three.
I was at work
You're
when I
all
listened
mixed
to
up-
it.
You're
so-
all mixed up there.
Yeah, I'm all mixed up. So he did say it in the first episode?
Yes.
Tori did, making fun of
Perfect. Okay. I had totally forgotten that. I
Teasing
I
you.
missed that part because I was listening for that specifically, but that's something that's been recurring regularly
yeah.
since episode 1, and I would have thought that came later, actually. That was an interesting tidbit.
From episode 1. Yeah, so this is not what I would call a creamy orange at all. This
No.
is, more pumpkin, darker, and then it's filled chock full of flecks. And we got red flecks and black flecks and even some that look slightly greenish, but that just might be black flecks that are more, deeper into the sauce and just like, looking through that layer of this orange, making it look green. But it looks quite colorful. It looks even, maybe appetizing, kind of like the mix on top of a Cool Ranch Dorito chip.
Oh, all right.
I don't know. I think it looks.
Did you guys ever
intriguing.
have those spicy Cool Ranch they had for a limited time?
No.
No.
Yeah,
That
they were
sounds
pretty
good.
good. They were like, that was not bad at all. And the same thing with the Cool Ranch. I always wish they just like amped the flavor dust up to like 11. The Cool Ranch were always too like bland for me. I love the flavor. I just wish they'd kick it up a notch.
I don't know. Sometimes they come out pretty coated. I mean, it's all.
Yeah,
I
the
think,
coated ones I like.
You
The
know, and,
uncoated ones I don't.
and I think they were, personally, they were my dad's favorite chip. So growing up as a kid, we always had.
Wow,
Cool
I'm
Ranch.
surprised your dad would eat something like that because that very
Yeah.
much falls into the junk food category.
Oh, yeah.
You've been trained since a young age to reject junk food in all forms, which everything is junk food.
This goes way back.
Everything you eat is junk food, as you've said before.
The Cool Ranch chips do not make an appearance in the last decade or more.
Okay.
Yeah, to be fair, we've wised up a little bit. Anyways,
No more
but-
Doritos.
and part
Wised
of
up.
it is
They're a
honestly
health family
exactly
now.
what you were saying, Adam, was the fact that again, back in literally late 80s,
The olden
early
days.
90s, those Cool Ranch Dorito chips were covered. They were coated.
I do think they had
so
more flavor.
thoroughly
no doubt.
Yeah.
and so flavorful. And we noticed the distinct shift when they stopped using as much. And
Yeah.
you get the chips, the
I
bag
agree.
of chips that maybe had a few
The first
coated
half
chips.
of the bag of chips has no flavoring on it
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. Nowadays, you're getting ripped off. And, it's sad.
The one comment I wanted to make on this great value French fry dipping sauce, I remember the color being a much, much lighter orange than it currently
Me too.
is. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not just me. Even when I saw it on the shelf at Walmart, where I bought these from yesterday, I was astounded. I was like, is this right?
It was a shade darker.
They were
than-
almost the same shade,
but they
right?
They were closer, much
They were
closer.
close. They weren't exactly the same, but it was nowhere near this dark of an orange.
Okay, this is night and day now.
Yeah, this is truly night and day.
We're spoiling Tori's description of the Sweet Baby Ray's, though.
Well, I'm just saying because like that French fry, I wanted to make a comment on this because that was the most alarming change to me in the past 2 years. Is that sauce is dramatically darker orange now,
Yes, it is.
from my memory at least. And we could probably go back and find the old pictures to verify, but I truly believe that is dramatically darker orange.
Oh, I 100% agree with you.
And I will also say that I had a really hard time finding the Ray's secret sauce when I was looking for it at Walmart. It was down tucked in a lower shelf where I was expecting to find it. The one thing I found, something with almost the identical label and name, is Ray's chicken sauce, which is a darker orange like this great value currently is. And so I was having a hard time looking past that. I actually looked it up on Google to see if they'd changed the name.
Wow.
Because that's another thing you have to watch out for when you're trying to find things that are 2 years old. With all that being said, Tori, go ahead and lead us off with the visual description for the Sweet Baby Ray's secret sauce itself.
Yeah, sure thing. Here I have a very pleasant, almost pastel, if you will, combination between, say, maybe orange and pink. Maybe salmon, maybe an orangey salmon color, if you will. Or maybe
You had to find the one naturally, maybe semi-naturally occurring. 'Cause
Semi-
when they cook the salmon, it gets that weird,
Yeah.
pale orange.
Weird? You don't like salmon?
it's junk food.
Salmon's
It's that color. I never said I was a big fan of the. Well, maybe I should say it in the first. I agreed with you in the first episode. I was like, yeah, it is a nice color for food.
naturally occurring orange.
Then I thought about it more. Naturally occurring creamy orange. Sorry, Tori.
Creamy orange.
It was a joke from the get-go. It was never intended to be serious. The old naturally occurring orange was sarcasm.
Again,
Now, the joke
that was
is that-
Tori making fun of you.
Yes,
You
no,
didn't
but I'm
say it
saying
at all.
that's the point, though. Is what I'm saying is that
It
nothing
was a joke.
There is no naturally occurring orange like that. That's the fucking pun. The whole
It's
time.
all jokes,
Yeah.
baby. It's all
The
jokes.
past 100 episodes, that was the fucking joke.
And literally 98 episodes later, Tori manages to find the one thing that when you're cooking salmon, that's actually a pretty darn good
Leave it to me, dude.
analogy.
Yeah.
That you spot on. You got it. You
Leave it
nailed
to me. I'll hit you with one more. Maybe if you were to imagine a melted creamsicle. You have some of the orange, some of the white mixed up,
Maybe.
Oh,
all
yeah.
on the same plate. I
I
don't
like
know, man.
creamsicles.
I dig. I don't care for creamsicles.
Okay, I don't like them. Yeah, yucky.
I like fudge sickles for what it's worth.
Yeah.
But here I have in front of me a homogenized, that color sauce, that aforementioned color. I don't have too many flecks from what I can tell, despite the fibrousness nature of horseradish. So, no, that's a bit of a puzzler. I didn't get anything on the tongue, no texture there, nothing on the old finger.
There are some tiny red flecks in it. They're very hard to detect, but there are some in there, I think.
Holy moly, you got better eyes than me.
We talked about this, I think, on the first episode, too. And I think you said the exact same thing.
You still
He's
do.
right. They're looking through the bottle. There is some.
Yeah,
red
there are
flags.
definitely some minuscule red flakes in there. They're just very hard to detect.
Okay, yeah, they're sticking to the side. These ones in the bottle at least seem bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very nice. Okay, so there you, yeah, almost. There's a maybe Thousand Island dressing. I think would be another good comparison.
But no
Sure.
chunks. None of those relishy chunks.
No chunks, but from a base color perspective, there you go.
Very good point. Well, I'd like to just give us a brief pause at this moment because I want to make a little comment here, which is that we've just finished our visual description of the sauces, which I would say is in the first third of the show. And we're now, I don't know how it's going to exactly come out with the cuts and edits, but we're approximately 34 minutes into the show, which I think bears mentioning because at this point, this was when our first episode concluded. 34 minutes in, that was all we got. And
All right, that'll wrap it up.
we are just now getting warmed up, which was a point I wanted to make because the scope of the show has increased dramatically. I know that, like, for most of the episodes, I managed to cut them down to about an hour, and I try to cut as little as possible, but I do try to get them within the hour time span, although we're never exact. I will say that, but I just think that's a funny thing, too, that we had completely talked about everything we cared to talk about these sauces. We were exhaustive. We had a beginning, a middle, and an end. We were totally done in 34 minutes.
Quick.
I know.
Rapid fire.
And it's not like we were even that to the point. Like, we still meandered in the first episode, which I think is just kind of funny that this episode ended up being so, our average episode now, honestly, if we didn't, like, cut things short, if I didn't, like, intentionally keep us moving along to keep us as close to that hour timeline as possible, we could easily do a 2-hour show.
No
Yeah.
question.
For sure.
Easily. And if we really wanted to pontificate on things, we could go 2.5 to 3. And I really feel that because, like I said, there's some websites we could spend an hour talking about the website itself.
Right. It all depends on how many bike stories you got lined up.
That's true. I could tell another bike story, but I will not. I will spare the listeners from that. Although I did also have another recent bicycle purchase, what I was telling you about. So, but yeah, that was something I thought was funny to mention. Is that 34 minutes long was our first episode. By that, we'd already had so many classic things where things like Eric talking about putting ketchup on mashed potatoes for the
Oh
first
my
time.
goodness. I almost gagged in the truck today.
I know, which is I'd forgotten about that, and we brought that back up. I think it was for like the Gravy Master or something like that, where Eric was talking about churning ketchup
Into the mashed potatoes. To
Back
make them red
in-
mashed potatoes.
to mashed potatoes. Yeah, absolutely
Yum.
disgusting.
They're
Oh,
delicious.
you still get down with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh dear.
Also, by that time, but 34 minutes in, we had already established classic tropes like the flavor version of a monotone, which is something that we still have not found the correct name for after 99 now episodes, and we still use on a regular basis. We had established about Eric's lactose intolerance issues.
Ooh.
That came up very early because I think we were talking about cream in this Ray's Secret Sauce.
Yeah.
And we had also ventured down a more troubling path with Eric's favorite sauce, his perfect 10, if he had to pick one, Poo-Tang sauce, which we referenced copiously after that for many episodes. And then it finally died off, but you meant to say poutine. That again started the classic trope of Eric trying to say something and totally botching the word.
Totally.
And when we were doing this little
Still do it.
retroflective thing here, I actually had kind of a realization about the show as a whole. and it's kind of like the Seinfeld realization, like it's a show about nothing. This podcast is not about sauces. This podcast is about Eric.
Oh, you just now came to that
Yeah, this
realization?
podcast is absolutely a chronicling of Eric's life and times. You know what I mean? Like everything that goes on in his life. The sauce is just a front
Aren't you lucky?
for us to enlighten listeners about the bizarrities of Eric's nature. Yeah, really an interesting revelation to me, kind of, that we are so overly focused on Eric.
Yeah, shocked that is just now clicking for you.
I may do
Had that not click at like episode 5.
I may do most of the talking. Well, because I know initially you guys were jagging me about calling it, oh, it's the Adam Show, because I do most of the talking, but like I very quickly cut down on like my own personal anecdotes and stuff and started talking to more about you guys and stuff. And Eric is always a font for eccentricity, I would say. So,
Nice.
so we do really end up. The sauce dwells heavily on Eric. That's all. The show dwells heavily on Eric. That's all I'll say.
Congratulations, bro.
It's a real shame. Well, I mean,
truly-
it might speak to the listenership that we have managed to
Oh, my goodness.
convey.
Oh, you think that's why there's not more listeners, is because it's
Perhaps.
they have to hear about Eric? Well, with all that being said, now that we're way past the point where we would have wrapped up our first episode, let's just now start talking about the actual flavors of the sauce themselves.
Yay.
Initial flavor rating or notes.
Notes. Where have you
Tasting
been?
notes. Tasting notes.
Tasting notes.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go ahead and start off with the great value. Now, I'll lead us off with this. So, it's a creamy, tangy sauce, naturally occurring orange. The thing I think is interesting is that a couple things of note, and I'll be honest. I remember the color. I don't remember as much the taste. This sauce, to me, is bad. Like, it's so much worse than what I remember the original one being, and that's the weird part. Like, to me, this has got, like, more of almost like a weird buffalo taste to it. Like, it's weird. It's got, like, a peppery, like a bell pepper tang to it, which that part's fine, but it's got, like, a weird heat to it. No other nuance whatsoever. Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah, and the thing is, I remember liking the original one a fair amount. This one, to me, it's very salty. It's very, like, peppery tasting. Not a lot else going on. Not a lot of nuance or anything. I actually quite dislike this.
Well, I'll go next, and I am in 100% agreement with you, Adam.
Really?
There is,
Okay. I thought you were going to say disagreement.
Oh, no, heck no. No. I mean, I gave the sauce an 8.5 the first time. I remember having complexity, citrusy. I remember it playing across my tongue and having all these different flavors at different points
That was what we liked
of
about
the
this.
tasting. Absolutely.
I remember that, is
This
that it
has
did
no
have
complexity.
nuance and complexity.
This is like a really runny,
It's
mayo-based.
It tastes like
sauce.
salt water. It tastes like ocean water that like a pepper fell into or something.
Yes, I agree. And I don't know if this is because, and I'm literally, first thought mine when I tried it, and I kept going back to it. I just thought, have I been permanently damaged by, like COVID or something? Like, how in the world does this taste
We wouldn't
so
both be damaged the same way,
terrible?
though.
It tastes terrible.
We've all had COVID. Me once, possibly twice. You at least twice.
Twice. At least,
Tori-
for sure.
Potentially twice, but never showed symptoms either time. So
I don't need a piece of plastic to tell me I'm sick. Like,
Right.
if I feel good, I
yeah,
feel
but
good.
you weren't sick. That's what I'm saying. You never showed any symptoms, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So yeah,
How do you know if you're sick then?
that's my point. That's what I'm saying. You theoretically you could have been sick twice, but that's what I'm curious about your
Could have
tasting notes on this
zero.
too. Because that's what I'm saying. It very well could have been zero. Like
Right.
I know I did. Eric knows he did. You have no reason to actually believe that you ever actually did have COVID. So that's what I'm saying. Like I wonder if your tasting notes are any different because I
This
believe
tastes-
the sauce changed.
Oh, the sauce had to have changed. This tastes terrible.
The color changed, if nothing else. But tell us about your tasting thoughts, Tor.
I quite like it.
Wow.
How's that hit you?
And I think
Huh.
who rated this? You rated this most highly.
I did.
I rated it the lowest.
That's what I thought.
I didn't care for it. At
That's
the
what I thought. I
time.
think I rated like a 7 or something.
I sort of like it.
You gave it like a 4,
Wow.
I think, Tori. or
Yeah,
something
it
like
wasn't
that.
a real glowing review.
It is boring. It has tasteless.
I think it's
it
actually-
has zero heat to me. I didn't even notice any heat. Actually,
I would go past the point of boring. I would say it's bad.
yeah, it is bad. Honestly, I took a little lick just a minute ago. I managed to find myself a little particle in there, and I bit down on it just to get some flavor, and it was a piece of black pepper.
Oh, yeah, that's the one thing I will say is I do think it has some black pepper flavoring, which I do think we talked about the first episode, noticing that. But yeah, the rest of this is
But I
just
wouldn't-
whack to me. I
I
don't
wouldn't
like it.
classify black pepper as hot. I mean,
It can, if you
Can
get enough
be.
of it on its own. It has a different type of heat, which we talked about that on the first episode.
We
That was
did.
another trope that we started off with, was the different types of heat, because I know we were talking about the heat from black pepper. Piperine is that chemical. And then we have, cayenne, which is from like a red hot pepper, that type of heat. And then, of course, the horseradish, wasabi type of bite, which is an entirely different thing. We talked about that, again, going back to the very first one, we talked about different types of heat.
I was so disappointed by the sauce. Go ahead, Tori. Please try and salvage it.
Dude, I don't know. I keep putting Schlecks on my finger and Schlecks on my fork. I like it. I do think it's salty. I agree with you. I don't think it's offensively salty. I think it's a pretty good salt. Definitely got the pepperiness. I distinctly remember the pepperiness from the first time, 98 episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I thought the heat was pleasant. I don't know what changed. I know in the first episode I mentioned it's not what I would go for with a French fry.
Right.
At the time, I had it on tater tots tonight and quite liked it. So
Yeah.
Wow.
maybe something did change.
Interesting.
Who knows?
Maybe
But
we've just grown.
Maybe.
Maybe you've regressed, Tori. And
Possibly.
Derek and I have grown. Or
Maybe.
the other way. Probably
You know
the
what
other
I
way.
think this also tastes like? Is it tastes kind of reminiscent, like Adam was saying, how he's in that bell pepper flavor.
Yeah.
I think you can. This is almost like that Hellman's roasted red pepper sauce that none of
Yeah.
us
it is
liked.
nothing
With
like that.
salt or
with
with more
some
salt.
and pepper.
I agree.
Ugh,
Yeah, I agree,
this
actually.
is so bad.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. And I think that's a fairly accurate statement.
It's nothing like that.
Which we do still have the Hellmann's in the fridge.
We
That's
do.
another one, too. Which
we could prove this.
it bears mentioning that this Sweet Baby Ray's, the Sweet and Gold Mustard, absolutely not going to try this because it is settled out. There's some thin, watery portion floating on top, and there's a thick, chunkier portion sitting at the bottom.
That doesn't want to move.
Clearly separated. The bottle itself has like veins on it, like stretch marks or something like that on it, where the
Yeah.
sauce is separated out. It looks
Varicose veins. Ooh.
vile, but for some reason it remains in Eric's fridge. Like he's going to use this.
I literally thought I'd used it all up because I really liked that sauce when I had it. So
It looks vile compared
it
to
just
the new
got
container.
lost in the fridge, as
Wow.
things can do.
Truly horrendous. Yeah, so this great value. I'm shocked by that. Like everything about it, color, appearance. I hate the bottle design now. Like, yeah, I'm very much different on that now. For a change of pace, let's go ahead and move on to the Sweet Baby Ray's secret sauce. Now, Tori, do you want to lace off with your thoughts on that one, and we'll work backwards?
Yeah, sure. I thought it was just a really creamy horseradish sauce. It would be something on order of what you would get in a packet at Arby's or Hardee's for that matter. That how they serve it, how they prepare it is white horseradish sauce. And to my memory, I don't think that has any real fiber. It's obviously horseradish, and naturally, what we all know that horsey sauce at Arby's is a horseradish sauce. So I would expect some fibrousness. I get neither of that. Everything's pretty smooth, at least as far as my tongue can tell. And yeah, so it's a creamy horseradish sauce. I think that may be ham on the front cover there. I want you guys to look at it.
It could be.
It looks pink. It looks a little too pink to be roast beef.
Could be.
But the point I'm making is I think they missed the mark on that labeling because I think that'd be much better suited as a slice of roast beef. There are several slices of roast beef to make it even better. That may not portray well. That may not carry well on a label on the shelf because, as we said, this is pretty well shelf made.
Yeah.
Pretty regimented for that type of idea. But yeah, so there you have it. It's horseradish. I don't think it has much in the way of hot, peppery spiciness.
No.
But it has a nice horseradish bite, which if you like, you like. And it's there. And if that's what you're after, boy, I think you're going to find it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I disagree. I do think that is roast beef on the front. I think it's probably just a color saturation issue from the printing.
Same here. Definitely. I think it just doesn't.
The
look like ham.
appearance of it, the color looks more like ham, but the appearance, like that wilted, wrinkly appearance, looks more like roast beef to me. Or like a corned beef
The
or
meat
something, maybe.
texture like going on there is not ham.
But your tasting thoughts, Eric?
Largely in line with Tori. There's extremely homogenized, creamy. I feel like you don't get enough horseradish flavor personally. I think it's under flavored, especially compared to many of the horseradish sauces we have tried on this show at this point.
No doubt.
Yeah, kind of left me wanting, to say the least.
Interesting.
It's creamy. I'll give it that. It's a creamy, pale orange mayo with a hint of horseradish sauce. It's I don't know, for Ray's secret sauce, it's not much of a secret or not much going on there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm a little bit inclined to agree with you as far as the secret sauce. I think it's weird. And I think part of it, I'm trying to remember back to episode 1, I think my intent when picking these sauces out was to try to get 2 sauces that were kind of similar, but also kind of like that, McDonald's secret sauce, that they put on the Big Macs. I think that, which is basically Thousand Island.
Thousand Island.
And I think it's funny because we missed the mark with both of these. The French fry dipping sauce, the original one, I think, was closer to that. This one is not like it at all. The Ray's secret sauce is absolutely not, but I think I mentioned this exact same thing in episode 1, and I still hold to it, is that it reminds me of another burger monarch, which is, Burger King. To me, it's very similar to the zesty sauce, which I'm pretty positive I said that in episode 1, and I still maintain that.
You did.
It reminds me of a milder,
And
possibly more balanced blended zesty sauce.
I never had zesty sauce until we tried it here on the show. And I haven't yet to have it since.
I suspect they changed the formula on zesty sauce. I don't like it as much as I used to, I've noticed. Burger King in general has gone dramatically downhill, especially the one near you, Eric, which we have countless tales. Every time we go there, it's a new adventure. And there's frequently smoke billowing from the top. It looks like it's on fire every time you drive by. And I think they may have changed it. But yeah, it is smooth. It is creamy. It's not got a lot of bite to it. We all did mention in episode 1 about liking horseradish. And we've said that ever since, and that's continued on. And yeah, to me, I actually think I might like this better than horseradish than zesty sauce now, to be honest. But I think zesty sauce is a more apt comparison than horsey sauce because of the color and the other flavors going on in it. The horsey sauce is very much just mayo, horseradish. This, I do feel like, has some other savory flavors going on. It's got a little bit of like that paprika and stuff, things like that, things of that nature. Maybe some ketchup thrown in there, I don't know exactly, but definitely more than just a horsey sauce. The one thing I tasted today, which I don't remember tasting before, and I don't think is an ingredient, I actually tasted carrot. Almost like a weird, like, vegetable-y sweetness type of thing. I thought, honest to God, I thought I tasted carrot in it.
Wow.
And I don't think there's any in it, which is interesting, but will lead us off into Eric's favorite segment of the show, the ingredients. And I want to tie this back, too, because we were laughing on the very first episode about how obnoxious it would be to read all the ingredients for every sauce. We were talking about how, like, tacky and boring that would be. And since then, that has become an absolute staple of the show, and often something we get a lot of humor for, vis-a-vis the Tom Savini's Vampire Repellent that we tried the other week. That is something, hell, if we hadn't looked at the ingredients for that, we would have missed out on a crucial part of the sauce. So,
right.
So I do think that's interesting that we made such a radical change on there, and I think that was also a pretty quick change, but that's one of our major, formatting things we've adjusted from.
Ingredients. You gotta love ingredients. It's not a show without it.
So yeah, why don't you hit us with the Great Value sauce first, Eric? I know you love to break format and go out of order, but we've been doing the Great Value first every time. So he already had the Sweet Baby Ray's in his hand for the listeners. He was ready to go, and I made him change.
All right, let's see how different this is or not. Does anyone memorize?
I memorized the ingredients from 2 years ago.
I don't even think we read.
No, that's what I'm saying. We didn't because we were saying how obnoxious that would be. We had you read them and then pick out if there's anything interesting.
Right. That's right. That's how we did it. All right. So the ingredients for the for the French fry, Great Value French fry. Boy, I really, really want to do that Sweet Baby Ray's instead. All right. This contains water, soybean oil, ancho pepper puree.
Okay.
Egg. A bunch of stuff in parentheses there. Egg yolks, sugar, salt, distilled vinegar, and then contains 2% or less of red jalapeno, garlic powder, food starch modified, dried buttermilk, spices, lactic acid, xanthan gum,
bang,
powder, onion powder, paprika extract for color, sorbate, calcium disodium EDTA.
Yeah, take this nest.
Yeah.
And this contains milk and eggs, as we talked about on the very first episode.
The lactose intolerance.
That's
the first
right. That's where
step in the chronicle.
Yeah, I don't remember the ancho chili pepper paste or whatever that ingredient was. I don't remember that being in there at all. I think that's interesting.
And we distinctly did call out the fact that there was lemon, I think, in the first episode.
Did we?
Yeah.
And there's no lemon now?
And there's no lemon now.
So they definitely seem to have changed the formula. Yes. Interesting. Yeah, that explains a lot. The ancho chili pepper would explain the flavors I'm tasting, I think.
Yeah, that like
that weird chili paste thing. Like I said, it's not what it was initially, I don't believe.
more like a bell pepper, but I guess there's maybe a
Yeah.
little bit of smokiness in there. 'cause
Ancho chili pepper. Well, they're not. I don't think anchos are smoked necessarily. Are they? I don't remember.
thought they were.
Are anchos smoked poblanos?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I believe.
I don't taste any smoke in this at all either. So,
Yeah,
what it's worth.
not really.
All right.
It was just bland.
well, hit us with
Disappointing.
the Sweet Baby Ray's, Eric.
All right, the Sweet Baby Ray's secret sauce here. It is soybean oil, distilled vinegar, water, corn syrup, egg yolk, high fructose corn syrup, horseradish. Then it contains 2% or less of salt, yellow mustard. Where does that parenthesis end? There it is. Modified cornstarch, xanthan gum,
Bang bang.
garlic,
Bang, bang.
spice, polysorbate,
Ooh.
60.
My favorite
The best
polysorbate.
kind, right?
Potassium sorbate, and sodium benzate.
right.
Artificial flavor, the oleo resin,
Okay.
Yee.
paprika, again for color.
Yeah.
Disodium inosate, and disodium glutamate, calcium disodium EDTA. Woo.
Eric, dick, tits, and ass.
Wow.
So,
I don't remember it being that chemically.
yeah, so no carrots whatsoever. So I totally fabricated that. And I'm assuming you guys didn't taste that at all, right?
Yeah, not really upon
Nah.
retasting it. I mean, I think there's a certain, like, linkage between horseradish and carrot just because they're both kind of like roots, you know? They're kind of have like that, a slight earthiness to them. So maybe that's
Yeah.
what your brain was just kind of
Interesting.
thinking.
You might be onto something, Mary.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was like a lot of we've covered now, I think a lot of the big, massive changes, I think, from episode 1 that I remember. The only other thing I was going to call back to was you alluded to in your intro today, Tori, was that your hello and welcomes used to be dramatically less enthusiastic. They used to just be
Can you
very
believe it?
NPR, just hello and welcome.
Oh, yeah.
Today on Sauce Spoken, we discuss sauces. It was
Snooze fest.
I just think it's funny how, and I didn't quite have the editing music cut right either, too, the way it currently is. But I think it's funny. Actually, I'm so proud of myself because it only took me 98 episodes before I finally have gotten it to the point where I can drop your intros in before the show, and I leave a little space in there, and I just eyeball it, and I can drop that intro music in, and it fits perfectly.
Yay.
I can fit the exact beat that I wanted to hit on, you know.
Love it.
So I got that twice in the past 2 weeks. I was like, nailed it.
Right. Next chore.
Never happened before. I got it twice in the past 2 weeks. Yeah, so I guess now it's now's typically the time we would go visit the websites, which, like I said, I think we already visited these for episode 1. We probably already looked at them even if we didn't talk about it on the show.
How many great value sauces? What?
They're
Sam's
boring.
Club
That's what I'm
sauce, yeah.
saying. Great Value is a boring ass website. We've talked about them before. There's nothing to visit on there. Sweet Baby Ray's we've been on at least a half a dozen times now, so I'm not even gonna bother with either one of those at this point. But with all that being said, I think it's time now for us to get on to the ratings portion of the show. Now, I didn't write down the ratings. Like I said, I didn't pay attention to mine. I like specifically blanked that spot out of my head because I did not want to influence that. So, and I guess, spoiler alert, you guys will have to do the comparison because I don't think, Eric, you didn't write them down or anything, right?
Write them down for here, right now?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that would have shocked me if you took effort I didn't explicitly tell you to take. So,
Right. That's
but yeah, for comparison purposes, I don't remember what we gave them. I am curious to see what they get now. I suspect it will be quite different for at least some of these. So let's go ahead and start off with the Great Value French fry dipping sauce. I'll go first. It's bad.
Oof.
However good it was initially, I remember liking it a lot better. I strongly believe they changed the recipe, changed formula, changed the color. Bottle's still stupid. I don't like, it's still whack. I liked it better because I didn't have any comparison. That I will say was my own fault. But the taste I think has gone bad in this, and I, honest to God, I don't want it on anything else at all ever. It's like, it's not inedible. I would say it's probably like a 2, to be honest. That's where I'm coming in with it.
right.
We've had far worse sauces on the show. I won't beat around the bush as far as that goes, but this is bad. It's definitely subpar. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, for full transparency, tonight we not only tried it on, for Tori and I, we also tried it on some chicken strips. So we had a little bit more variety, something a little new to the table. It was bad on the chicken strips as well, in my opinion.
Give me a break.
So, yeah, I was initially thinking like 4, around the 4 when I first tried it. Upon, further dissecting it, yeah, I'll give it a nice 3.5 because it's edible. And, but no, it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all.
Yeah, what do you think, Tor?
Wow. I remember not liking it too much the first time around, but like I said before, man, I quite like it this time around.
Weird.
It's
You're wrong.
you are wrong. Yeah,
Canceled.
it would go above ketchup for me. It's not even
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
This is so far below ketchup. This is okay. Continue.
It's not even. Yeah, I mean, it's not a 10. It's not even anywhere close to a 10.
But it's a 9.5.
No. I don't know, man. I think it's like a 7.5.
Wow.
Damn.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
I sort of liked it. I was globbing it on my fork. I was shoveling it in. I wish I had like 2 or 3 more chicken tendies, to be very
Wow.
honest with you.
You thought it was good on the chicken tendy?
I liked it. Yeah.
I liked it more on the chicken tendy than you did on the tater tots.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. Wow. Gross.
I thought it was good. I liked it.
To me, it doesn't even make sense after hearing the ingredients, it doesn't even make sense as a French fry dipping sauce. They don't have multiple of them there. Like, this is clearly the one we had before. And
I think it's misnamed. I think chicken finger sauce would be a much better.
I think it's like drooling mongoloid sauce, maybe.
Oh my! Be nice. Be nice.
tasteless human sauce.
Oh please.
I mean, it's water, soybean oil, and then ancho pepper. So it's like the hint of ancho pepper sauce.
It is essentially
by volume.
It is essentially the Hellman's roasted red pepper sauce.
It really is.
Oh,
Ooh.
piss off.
Just more spice to it. Piss on it. Yeah, interesting. I think initially, if I had to guess, I think I rated the initial one like a 7.5. I think you rated like an 8.5, Eric, or something like that.
Initially, yeah, you gave us
Just off a guess.
I gave it 8.5, and Tori gave it a.
Or no, maybe I gave this one a 7, and I gave the Sweet Baby Ray's like a 7.5 or an 8. That's my guess, without going back and listening to it a second time. So,
Oh my God, I don't know.
without spending an additional like 4 minutes to go back and listen to the ratings portion.
Too
But,
much. Too busy. Sorry.
Pretty sure Tori gave it a 4.5. I think you did. Like, said it was less than. Yeah, you
That
did.
sounds-
You said it was
I know
less
I
than
didn't care
ketchup.
for it. Yeah, I forget what the number was, but
I will say that like I try to jam in a lot of podcast listening, and normally like listening to our show or listening to these old episodes would have been a breeze. I would have been like 20 episodes deep by this point, but I've been working for the past couple weeks in our clean room, and I've been in one of those like Tyvek bunny suits, you know,
oh,
and you can't fuck with anything in your ears or anything like that. You're like, your face is covered except for your eyes. You know what I mean? So like, I can't even listen to podcasts. It's driving me crazy. So
wow.
yeah, I don't know what I want to do, but we usually play some jams, but we play them through the TV inside the clean room. And it's like, what the worst speaker you can imagine is the one that plays through like a shitty flat screen TV. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Ugh.
Make it work.
0 bass, 0 treble, 0 mid. It's like listening to it 3 rooms away, you know? It's bad. But all right, let's go ahead now and moving on to the Sweet Baby Ray's secret sauce. I guess I'll lead us off again with this one. Yeah, honestly, I rated that zesty sauce super high when we had it. I remember what I gave it. And it's weird. Like I said, I think the zesty sauce has gotten worse somehow from Burger King. And then the onion rings, which I used to like from there, have also gotten worse. And maybe it's just like the shitty local Burger Kings that like are like the bottom tier of fast food now. Like if they're the people that get workers when every other fast food place has been fully stocked with workers, you know what I mean? Which lately has not happened anywhere.
Right.
I remember I was talking about a McDonald's the other day. I went to fully open, no one working there. And I probably could have hopped the counter and served myself. So
Not a single soul. I don't
no
remember
one.
this story.
no one.
Wow.
It was on like a Sunday night. I was coming home from Ohio and I wanted to stop at a couple fast food places. I went to 2 of them, not a soul working. I went to
2
Wendy's.
stores. No one was working.
I went to Wendy's and they told me it was going to be like a half an hour to get served. And I went to McDonald's. No one.
That's unreal.
No one there. 0. No one in the parking lot. The restaurant was open, like lights on and shit.
That's insane.
Drive-through menu was lit up. No one working.
Was there stuff like beeping and?
I didn't go inside.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, nothing. No one
That's
working.
Bizarre.
That is
But
really weird.
yeah, I mean, labor shortages. You know, it's a real thing. Like people don't want to work for bullshit.
Bro, lock
McDonald's
the
wages,
doors
so-
at least.
Right?
It was probably some manager or something like that who didn't even bother showing up. You know, like probably the last employee left when the shift ended, and they just like said, "Oh, fuck it." They probably don't even have the keys to lock the place. You know what I mean?
Wow.
That's
If like a
unreal.
manager doesn't show up, what are you supposed to do? You know, so like I don't blame them. Fuck them. You know, that's McDonald's problem. Pay better if you want to hire workers, I guess. So,
Good point.
but anyways, so wow, we went off quite the tangent.
Yeah.
But yeah, Burger King is bottom of the barrel now. They've gone so far downhill from their grace in my childhood when they had the best chicken nuggets in town, and
The ones with the pepper in them.
the ones with the pepper in them, the long skinny ones with the
Yeah.
pepper in them, which fucking slapped. Anyone
They
could
were
bring those
good.
back down and kill now. But anyways, this stuff, like I said, I think I might actually like it better than regular zesty sauce now. 8.
Wow.
That's what I think. Pretty good. What about you, Eric?
Roundabout way to get there, but that's quite a glowing review.
I really like it.
Huh. No, I was left wanting. I think I would probably choose ketchup over it, perhaps. The certain application, like a roast beef sandwich or something, or maybe some onions, might be more desirable. So, I'm going to give it a nice little 5. I think it's where it belongs.
That's harsh. I thought you liked this.
I liked it. I think I did like the first time better. I gave both these sauces good ratings the first time. Both these sauces were quite the miss this time.
It's interesting because I wanted to get a direct comparison to see if our ratings would change. And I think that they did change a little bit. This Sweet Baby Ray's, I think, is exactly the same as it was before.
I think it's...
Or imperceptibly changed.
Yeah, if anything, I do remember it being a little bit more horseradish flavor.
I
a little
don't
sharper.
think it was. I've had this on so many other occasions, too. I don't think it was. I think this was it.
But...
That Great Value has definitely changed.
And it's funny because, well, I know my tasting profile has definitely changed over the 2 years because, as I said in episode 1, I don't care for horseradish, is what I had said back then. And...
Interesting.
And now
We've got you on that.
Yeah, you've got me on kind of hooked.
Got you back on
I
that
really like it.
Wagon.
Yeah,
Nice.
I like it. I like it hot. I like it bitey.
Like it.
That what was that? That Beaver brand deli
Mouthy?
style.
Oh, yeah.
God, that's shit.
Yeah, that's a good
hits.
one.
It
It'll
hits
bite ya.
hard.
That is a
but
good
I
one.
like it. Where this was like, it needs some of the Beaver brand deli horseradish
Kick it up a
mixed
little
into it. Yeah, it needs.
That was the creamy one that had the insane kick to it.
Oh, it was
the
the
deli
creamy.
was the milder one,
That's right. The deli was more.
which I like better. But all right, Tori, what was your thoughts on this?
This is right up my alley. I mean, this really is. I will ask for extra sauce of this pretty much wherever it is offered, and I will find something to dip into it, whether it is my sandwich, whether it is a French fry, an onion ring, an XYZ, you name it. I liked it back then. I liked it 2.5 some odd years ago. I like it now. It's a 9 for me.
Nice.
It's good. I mean,
Nice.
It is damn good. I think on some salty French fries or curly fries,
Oh, yeah.
my man, you got it.
It'll be
Forget
real
it.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
salty
that's-
fry.
That's where it's at.
Hell yeah.
Wait a second. So you're saying all these things that you like it, but you're grading it lower than you rated it the first time.
He rated it a 9.
Yeah, the first time you rated it a 9.5.
I gave it a 9.5.
Oh, did you
last
really?
time. That's right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean,
Well,
So-
I think
so
that's
what could
fair
be-
with the perspective.
Yeah,
though.
it is fair.
yeah, I mean, through
was
the
gonna
lens,
say-
I mean, that Beaver brand stuff, that was really good too.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
knowing what we know now, a 9.5 is a stellar rating.
Oh, it is absolutely. I was going to say, it's same. Because it's ask the same question that Adam asked in season 1. What would make it better? What in your mind would make it a 10?
that's a good question.
To me, it'd have to be packing more flavor. So
Yeah,
in a couple
maybe more
different
horseradish.
capacities.
Yeah,
This is a little bit too, not quite complex enough. I'd like a little bit more horseradish to it. I'd like a little bit of a smokiness or something like that if I could get it. That'd be nice. I need some flavor complexity for a 10. Something like this, yeah.
yeah. But I'm gonna, through that lens, like as we mentioned before, with the total sum of our expedition through these years, through the hills of sauces and things as we go to Grandma's house, But
What?
don't mind me.
Grandma's house has all the sauces.
This is turning into an Eric story.
Over the mountain and through the hills. But so as we went on this journey for the last 2 years, I'm looking through that lens, dude. And that is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a 9 in Sweet Baby Ray's. I think it's good. The price point was probably on the money. I would imagine it was
Oh,
cheap.
they were very inexpensive,
Yeah.
both of these, yeah. I think like $3 for this Sweet Baby Ray's.
it's good. I like it.
Cool. Well,
Nice.
I think it's going to do it for us this week for our recap on episode 1. Episode 1, part 2. Redo. On the Great Value French fry dipping sauce and the Sweet Baby Ray's secret sauce. With all that being said,
Could totally pose a question to make this go longer if we wanted to, but we don't have to do it.
what's the question?
What other sauce would you wish you could redo? If you could think of, do you have anyone off the top of your,
You know what? To be honest, I think we just needed a little bit of perspective. I don't think my ratings are that far off for most of these sauces. I think I may have rated some worse, like the Wild Style Poppin' Bullshit sauce. I think I probably would have rated that one even worse than whatever I gave it. But, I don't think I would redo most of these because once we got a little bit of perspective, we got a few sauces under our belt, I feel like my ratings have been pretty consistent.
I would have said that too, except for the fact how drastically different my ratings are with these two.
Yeah, but it's not fair to say if the sauce itself changed.
Well, but like you said, you don't think the Sweet Baby Ray's changed.
No.
And I know I gave this one, whatever it was. I think it was like a 7.5 or something.
Which is weird because
I'm giving it a 5.
you said you didn't like horseradish, and now you do like horseradish, and you like the sauce less.
I like it less because it didn't have enough this
Doesn't
time.
have enough horseradish.
Yeah,
for
it doesn't
you.
have enough
Scratch the itch.
No, I don't think there's too many. I don't think there's too many I would like to redo. I think this was a fun one just to get our unique perspective on this because we're going into it as blind as a bat. And yeah, I think the rest of them I feel like I had decent perspective for. I really don't think I would change my ratings that much. There might be I might give a few more like lower ratings, like bomb ass 1s. I might give a few more like bomb ass 10s, but I would be moving a notch like at most like 2 points, I think.
Right.
I don't think I wouldn't be flip flopping, more than that.
Like this one dropping from 8.5 to a 4.
Yeah, unless the sauce itself changed,
which
which
it
is a
did.
totally different thing, So
I'm pretty certain that sauce has changed. So I agree with you, Adam. So
You know that honey mustard has changed.
but
oh god, that's
this changed for the worse. Yeah,
That's
throw that
done
away.
for.
Please throw that away.
That is-
You're not going to eat that.
No,
Please
that is-
don't.
That is
I'm
garbage.
begging you.
I'm not going to eat that. That is garbage.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us this week on these sauces. With all that being said, Eric,
Closing thoughts.
it's time for a little recipe.
Let it rip.
What do you think I'm going to do this week, Eric?
Oh, man.
Can only wonder. I figured for sure we just ran out of time. You weren't going to bother.
No, I'll edit it down. This is worth my while.
This is episode 99.
We are a little long, but this is a fun one. This is a redo. So,
Even Prince said party like it's 1999. We're doing it.
what do you think I'm going to do this week, Eric?
Prince? That's Prince. I don't know.
Well,
Right.
we've talked a lot on the show about Eric's dating life. This is the Eric Show, as we previously alluded to. And
Yes.
I want to harken back one more time to episode 1, one of the funnier moments from episode 1. And I want you to build us, Eric,
Oh, no.
a poutine sauce.
Oh, no.
I want you to build us a sauce, and I'm going to give you very few limitations, but this has to be a sauce. I would prefer if it wasn't just totally like a sweet sauce, but it can have sweet elements in it. But I want you to build a sauce to seduce a lover.
Oh,
If you had to
Seduce
invite
a lover.
a lucky lady listener over to the Nerd Palace, what kind of sauce would you custom hand make for this young maiden to seduce her into your dragon's lair?
you are the saucier, my bro.
It's pretty open-ended.
I have one lined up all right now.
I mean, I could just pull from what the sauce I made for the last time I had a lady over here.
No.
but,
This has got to
yeah.
be a sauce to seduce, and I'm not
Your
saying
sister
like
doesn't count.
I'm not.
Ooh, nice,
I'm not saying
nice.
like a dish. I'm not saying like something like that. I'm saying like it can be a sauce to go with something, but I want the sauce to stand alone, and it's got to have multiple elements into it. It can't just be one thing. A sauce to seduce someone. So not something that someone thinks tastes good necessarily, but I want your own personal Ease brand love potion here.
Oh, a little
potion.
Spanish fly for E. Ha 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 ha!
Well, I kind of like the idea of going with like a chocolate coconut.
It can't be all sweet. I said it
I
can't
know.
just be like a
Coconut's
dessert. It
not
can't just be
sweet.
like Nutella.
But you don't have chocolate coconut that much. I don't think like a sauce out there that's just made like that. So if you start
There's
with like
candy
coconut,
bars.
like an
Almond Joys.
almond joy.
You think picking coconut
Start
out of your teeth is romantic?
No. Like start with like coconut
All right,
oil.
I'm telling you, this can have sweet elements, but it can't just be a total just dessert sauce.
Okay.
I told you that from the get-go.
Yes.
That's too much of a cop-out.
Coconut oil,
No copping out, E.
and we're gonna put obviously cocoa in there, and then we're gonna put the ancho chilies finely powdered up in there.
So hold on. Chocolate.
Coconut
Okay.
chilies
All right.
to give it a little bit of spice, a little zing.
You're making like a
Just
mole
little
sauce
heat.
or something?
Where
Where are you going with this?
But coconut doesn't really from mole.
No.
I'm just trying to envision a good.
What are
sauce
the
can stand on its
ratios
own.
here? What are the ratios?
Well, coconut oil's got to be like your base to be able to get that flavor, that coconut flavor to come through.
Are you talking about like ground coconut, like the dried stuff that you said?
No, coconut
Looks like fake.
oil.
Coconut oil. Okay.
The oil.
So something that's already a component of chocolate.
I don't think it's a component of chocolate.
There's chocolate with coconut oil in it. Milk chocolate.
Okay,
Absolutely.
that's strange.
Why is that
You're
strange?
saying milk chocolate has coconut oil in it.
Some does, yes. Some has coconut
Okay.
oil in it. Yes, absolutely. Things like palm oil and coconut oil are common in chocolates.
But then you can get that like savory like heat, like I said. So you're gonna have to add some of that powdered ancho chilies. Maybe
Okay.
try putting a little bit of paprika in there.
Okay.
It might be kind of weird. Spice. You're gonna go with that spice.
All right.
Why not get something to get a little bit more again savory?
I
without-
think you might mean more like
balance it out.
coconut milk. Coconut oil
Okay.
doesn't have that much coconut flavor to it.
Okay, that's fair. Coconut milk would be probably better.
Okay. All right. I'm kind of with
Use.
you.
Obviously, you're gonna need some sugar in there. So again, to
More?
balance that sweetness.
All right.
It's cocoa powder or cocoa flavor.
You're talking like a
doesn't
dark
really
chocolate or like a milk chocolate?
Probably more. I don't know what cocoa powder is. I don't think you can buy a dark chocolate
Okay, so
cocoa powder.
so you're gonna like heat up. You're gonna like heat up
You
coconut.
got me, bro.
You're gonna like heat up coconut milk, put cocoa powder into it with sugar and ancho chili pepper, maybe some
Sugar,
paprika.
ancho fill peppers, maybe some paprika. Still need something to create another flavor, or
Yeah, you need
You know
at least
what?
one more ingredient.
I think how about it'd be good to like put maybe some like walnut or even like a little bit of a fruit element in there. Maybe a little bit of some crunch up walnuts, real not like super fine, but like like a good, real small crumble to it to mix in there. I'll give the sauce some texture.
That's still like a dessert sauce. I don't know.
Oh, it is
kinda,
a dessert sauce.
I specifically told you not a dessert sauce. That's
you
a
said
cop out.
You said it could have.
I said it can
of
have
dessert,
sweet elements. But it has to be a sauce. I was thinking like if you wanted to put chocolate chips and mayonnaise or something, that would be okay. But it can't just be sauce with a little bit of pepper.
Mayonnaise sounds
Oh.
horrible.
And I mean, they make chocolate bars which have like red pepper flake in them, which is essentially what you're making. I'm saying that's a cop out to just make a candy. You got to put something that makes it less of a cop out.
All right. It's like putting those nuts and then the heat flavor, doing all those together. I've never seen anything like that before. I think that'd be.
I will pull
interesting.
some shit up on Google right now. You can
interesting
find,
flavor.
you can
Do it.
absolutely find.
Yeah, really.
Okay, you want me to find a chocolate bar with like pepper in it?
No, it's not a bar. It's a sauce.
Okay,
Find a
so you
chocolate
melt that. It's the
sauce.
same thing. It's a dessert. You have to put some element into this that's like not standard dessert thing. Like you can't just recreate something that already exists. That's you've getting cop out
I
with
don't
recipes.
think I've been creating anything.
I've
that
let you
exists, is all I'm
slide-
saying. Okay,
Eric.
coconut milk, ancho chili peppers. Just type those in again and see what comes up. What sauce? So chocolate, coconut, walnut, and then I said sort of like a fruit element would be good in there too. Could
This
be.
all sweet stuff. I said it can have a sweet element, but you can't have just sweet elements and one like borderline thing that they already put in chocolate. Anyways, I did just pull up here
One borderline
Lindt
thing. So I'm
Excellent Chili Dark Chocolate Bars. Now I can't find the ingredients because it probably has fucking coconut oil in it already.
Oh my god!
So I'm saying that's a cop out.
It has coconut oil in it.
I can't find the
Hilarious.
ingredients, but it probably does. They put chocolate. Oh, you want me to? Do you want me to take an aside here for another half hour and prove you wrong on this?
No.
Make a sauce with some interesting element that's not just a dessert.
Alrighty. So starting with just like from scratch then.
I'm just saying, like I told you to make something. It can have like you can have. Okay, let me rephrase this. You can have one sweet element in it, but it's
So
got to
I
be a
think-
sauce that's
I
not
think
just
coconut
dessert
thinks- no,
sauce.
I think coconut is screams of romance. You know, even when you're even not like.
Oh my
on
god!
an
All
island
right.
or
Well, this
something, for
recipe has
sure.
gone the way of your dating
start-
life, and it's
we'll-
totally failed.
We'll start with the
Oh,
coconut.
man.
You know, again, like go with like a coconut curry. Then a coconut curry with.
Yes, if you wanted to make a coconut curry and put like chunks of chocolate in, I'd be okay with that.
Well, that would be weird. But all right.
The point, yeah.
That's the point.
The point is to elicit bizarreness from you, is not to come up with a good recipe. If you remember, your original onion ring recipe was what kicked this whole thing off, and they would have been completely inedible. That's the fun.
Completely inedible.
The
that's
fun
for
is
sure.
not to just replicate an existing dessert to the best of your memory.
Again, this is. I think my initial dessert recipe was far more bizarre than any other dessert, mixing all those different
No.
unique flavors. But yeah,
You lost me at the
coconut
walnuts thing,
curry,
bro.
Putting walnuts in it, and yeah,
Okay, well, Eric, you disappointed me. I'm very. I thought you would have pulled something out a little bit, even just for entertainment value, something a little bit more bizarre than that. Like, I think my idea of like mayonnaise with chocolate chips was what I was hoping for, to be
Oof.
honest. Which I think sounds funny,
Your
but
romance. That's an
Which I think
interesting romance sauce.
could be good in some applications, if I'm being honest.
What?
Yeah, I thi-
Seriously?
yeah, I mean, you would have to put it on something else, but like it's the same thing as like your sour cream that you put as a topping on if you mix sour cream and sugar, all of a
Powdered
sudden
sugar.
it's frosting. I think you could definitely do something akin to that
Chocolate
with mayonnaise.
Ooh.
I strongly feel that's a possible thing there. Like, I feel like if you had like mayonnaise as an ice cream topping, I doubt you would even taste the mayonnaise flavors. It would just taste like almost like marshmallow fluff, but like silkier, you know,
and much runnier. Unless you found some way to.
You think mayonnaise is runny?
Well, if you want to start blending it with chocolate.
And now it's time for Touching Thoughts with Tori.
Hello
I said
again.
chocolate chips, to be fair.
That was quite the revealing recipes there from start to finish. So yeah, that was something. But yeah, hello again, and it's my turn. It's my turn for Touching Thoughts. And I may have hit you with this before, but that's okay, because I think it's particularly poignant now. We've spent the last good while talking about what we have done and comparing that, and we have that snapshot in time, and now we have the opportunity to take a look back at that and see how much we've improved, and we're laughing about it, and we're joking about it, and some of the obstacles that we had early on really didn't turn out to be that big of a deal, you know, because here we are 2 years later and still chugging along. So I challenge you to look at things maybe in a similar light. What were you really upset about 2.5 years ago? What was the most pressing thing on your mind 2.5 years ago? You may be hard pressed to even remember it. And look how far you've come since then. And if you have the opportunity, whether it's fitness related or, you know, in an academic sense or whatever the case may be, you've come a hell of a long way in 2 years. I know we have. Yeah, and not to toot our own horn, but it's been pretty cool. So yeah, we love having you here. That'll do it for me.
Cool. Well, I think this was a really exciting experimental episode for us, something that we've really never done before. A redo to episode 1. I enjoyed it a lot, going back and listening to how distinctly different our format was, and I was glad we got to do a little comparing and contrasting. We hadn't even conceived of the concept of doing the recipes, I think, until we tried the zesty sauce. I think that was actually the thing that kicked that off.
The recipes.
And I don't remember what that
history.
was. Maybe that was like episode 14 or some shit, because I know we were talking about having to try zesty sauce because of this sauce. So, in a way, episode 1 did directly lead to the creation of recipes, which, even though Eric biffs it sometimes, I think by and large has been a net positive for humor in my life. So,
for sure.
So there's that.
Probably.
But as always, thank you guys so much for listening to The Eric Show, and we'll catch you next week.
The Eric Show. Oh no, it's the end of the show. Thank goodness there's several other episodes waiting just for you. Check out our Instagram. We like to have some fun over there. We post the sauce bottle pics if you're curious, and the occasional meme. That's going to be Sauce Spoken official. You know, despite our humble nature, we are accepting donations, believe it or not. Look us up on PayPal. That's going to be @SauceSpoken. Hey, and if you like what you hear, grease those palms, babe. Lastly, roll up your sleeves and get into the nitty-gritty at saucespoken.wordpress.com. We have show notes and details. Check it out. Share us with a family member or a friend. If you're enjoying it, I'm certain they will too. Good night.